Hello and welcome back to the channel, where today we will be doing a double EP review, episode 4 on King 810's newest EP, Follow My Tears, and In Gloom's reissued self-title. Now, there is a slight problem with the In Gloom one, where basically it's kind of in a no man's land. So for those of you that don't know, generally the rule of thumb is for an EP to qualify as an EP, it needs to be 1 to 6 songs and under half an hour, which the In Gloom album is. It is about 24 minutes, I believe. Or it's like 24 minutes, 25 minutes. So the runtime qualifies it for EP status, but it is 7 songs long, which qualifies it as an album. But generally speaking, an album is anything 7 songs or higher and runtime of half an hour or more. So you can see kind of what I'm on about, where I'm saying it's in no man's land. Like, it's got the track list that qualifies it as the bare minimum for an album, and it's got kind of like the runtime of what would qualify it for an EP. So I've thought, because it has several songs that, well, I say several, 2 or 3 songs that were like a minute or something like that, I've qualified it as an EP. But obviously I know to some people this would be an album, so I am aware. I just decided, rather than giving it a full short album review, since it was only a 24-minute thing, it took me the same amount of time to get through as the King 810 album, or EP, sorry. Therefore, I would put it in this. So, without further ado, and dawdling will end, let's get into the review. So, we're starting off with the King 810 one. I'm just going to have a quick sip of my drink here, because my mouth is drier than the Sahara Desert. Flat warm cherry Pepsi. Gotta love it. Ugh. Right. So, King 810's EP, Follow My Tears, starts off with the track Brains on the Asphalt, which runs for 3 minutes and 10 seconds, or something along those lines. It's like 3 minutes 10, 3 minutes 12, something like that. And this song is not my favourite track that King 810 has put out. And honestly, it's up there with Love Under Will, I think it was called, as possibly one of my least favourite King 810 songs. Like, I do like the aggression in the chorus that they use and the quickness of the pacing and everything like that, but I tend to feel that the verses are just a bit disjointed and don't gel well with the chorus that they have and stuff like that. And the chorus is a little bit repetitive, with just like them saying brains on the asphalt and stuff like that. So yeah, like I said, it's not exactly a standout of their rather long discography now. Like, they've got, what, 3 albums, I think. Is it 3 or 4 full studio albums, and I think 2 or 3 EPs now. So there's definitely better stuff you can go and find, and indeed this EP actually does have better stuff on it. Which takes me on to actually track number 2, which is one of the better songs, which is Widdershins, which I feel is a very peculiar name. I've never heard that word before. This is just shy of 4 minutes long. I think it's like 3 minutes and 50 seconds or something like that. And this is a much stronger song. The beat actually Works very well in conjunction of the lyrics, which are about spells and black magic and um, things of that nature, and like the darker side of like witchy stuff, I guess you could say. Like, I'm not sure. But yeah, it all works well, and the hook and verses seem to tie together quite nicely. And there's a little bit of extra distortion here and there, which adds to a feeling of descending into madness near the end, as it just like all distorts out. And it really is just a much better package than Brains on the Asphalt, in my opinion. Obviously, some people might like track 1. I prefer to track 2. And if the track 2 was the opener for the album instead of Brains on the Asphalt, I think it would have been a much stronger start for the EP. But with that being said, we do move on to track number 3, which is Holy War, which is 4 minutes long, exactly. And there's a very solid 25-second build into the song here. And then when the lyrics kick in, there were some words used that I genuinely didn't have a fucking clue what they were. Like, I had to actually write it and break it down so I pronounce it correctly. I believe it was Upanishads, and even the word Bhagavads. Bhagavads? Yeah, not 100% sure. I forgot to look them up, honestly. But yeah, the vocals have like a lower register with a slightly vocal layer over David's regular style, which is kind of like a more high pitch, and like then his regular stuff. It all kind of just threw me off for a fucking bit. But then it comes back in with this portion where it's like, war, holy war, I need more, more, more. Take my soul when you go. I am yours. Which I thought was quite a solid chorus. Obviously, it's not the longest chorus at all, but there was something about it I liked. Yeah, I can't quite put my finger on what it was that I liked about it, but it just kind of flowed well, I guess, would be the best way to say it. Let me see if I can find out what Upanishads and Bhagavads are a minute, because I'm leaving this in as well. I don't edit, because I'm curious what it actually is. Okay, so Upanishads is a religious text late post-Vedic Sanskrit texts which document the transition from the archaic ritualism of the Veda to the now new religious ideas. Okay. And what the fuck was the other one? Bhagavads? Okay, so the Bhagavads looks like it's also a different religious text with Hindu scripture and stuff like that. Okay, so they're both like sort of religious texts, which the fact that they're in the song called Holy War makes sense. So yeah, there we go. We've learned something today. So with that being said, we will move on to track number 4, which is Isabel, which is 4 minutes and 21 seconds long, I think. And this track has a solid yet unexpected bit of piano throughout, which kind of mellows out the chaotic nature of the band. But the chorus of "Tell Christ I'll be right back. Tell that pretty Scottish witch I want my life back. I sent a message to my angel, it ain't right back. I've fallen underneath her spell, I can't fight back. I'm in this long nap, and oh, this is my overture. It's been 91 moons, I'm still not over her. I'm in the stars by the trees where you and me fucked. I carved David loves Isabel in the trunk. Which, that in conjunction with the verses, it kind of all flows very well. But it kind of has like this anti-love song where it's like talking about wanting your life back, and you know, them not writing back to you, because I'm kind of assuming that the angel is supposed to represent the person that he's kind of fallen for and stuff like this. But then it also has kind of like those love songy vibes where he's talking about, you know, 91 moons, I'm still not over her. Obviously, it's not exactly romantic, but you know, being in the stars by the tree where him and her fucked, and carving his name and her name into a tree, is kind of like, you know, what you would expect a young lovers to do, I guess. I wouldn't know. I've never carved my name into a tree or anything like that, so you know, but it kind of has all those vibes of like still not being over her but kind of done with the shit, if that makes sense. But it is easily one of the best songs on this EP, which takes us then to the final track for this EP, which is track 5, Say Cheese and Die, which is 4 minutes and 35 seconds, and this has some interesting instrumental notes during the vibey chorus. The verses are very much a rap-esque King 810's like typical style, flow, done with what they're kind of known for over it, in the tune. It's a good song. I haven't actually written a lot on it because I was kind of just vibing out to the track, and then I rewound, and then I was actually like just lost in the song again. So I didn't actually get as much about that as I did Isabel, for example, but it is still a good song. So before we move on to the EP2 for today, I've got my top track listing. So out of the 5, in order, we have my favourite track is Isabel. My second favourite track is Say Cheese and Die. We then have track 3, Widdershins. We then have track 4, which is Holy War. And the final track, as you guys probably suspected, it is Brains on the Asphalt. So, that's King 810, Follow My Tears. Now we will move on to In Gloom Remastered. Like I said, obviously some people might not be happy with this being in the EP video, but I've put it here. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to start off with track 1, which is called Scorched Earth, and it's 1 minute and 30 seconds. And this is just kind of a groovy, heavy instrumental opener. Until near the end, we just drop down into this kind of down-tempo, sludgy, vibey shit. And then there's some deep, dirty fucking gutturals that kick in. And they are gnarly. Yeah. Which then takes us to track 2, which is called 2, II. And this runs for 1 minute and 54 seconds, I think, or it's maybe a little bit shorter than that. This kind of carries on from the down-tempo nature of the end of track 1, and the vocals are mixed very well here, as I believe there's 2 vocalists for this band. Overall, it's a short but heavy and very cool track. Unfortunately with this, I couldn't find any fucking lyrics at all for any of the songs on the EP. because I went on Genius, which is what I generally tend to use for my lyrics. I have the app on my phone here and on my recording phone, and yeah, they just had nothing. I googled it, they had nothing. Google's version of Genius says that these are all unreleased and that the lyrics haven't been released yet, but they're in a EP album-esque format and they're online, you can find them. So I'm not sure where they get the unreleased bit from, but hey, fucking ho. So unfortunately for this one as well, there is no lyric analysis, or I ain't able to pull out any lyrics that I really enjoyed and kind of share them with you to give you a vibe of what they're talking about. So maybe if I can find another In Gloom album or EP that might allow me to do that in the future, we can take another dive into this band. But for now, we're just going to move on to track 3, which is Sycophant, featuring the guy, vocalist from Body Snatcher. I want to say his name's Kyle Medina. I'm going to have to Google this to make sure I'm right, aren't I? So I don't want to go giving you guys like the wrong name. Nope, Kyle Medina's Heavy Gloom, apparently. So fuck knows who's the vocalist for Body Snatcher. Wait, vocalist Kyle Medina. Okay. I'm not full of shit. What the fuck? I just googled his name and it was like Heavy Gloom, but or Heavy something else. But apparently no, he is the vocalist for Body Snatcher. I'm not fucking stupid. Okay, sick. Yeah. So apologies for that. That was a clusterfuck. We get a slight build here before vocals kick in. And the down-tempo beat mixed with the fast guitars and the beastly vocals just hit that spot, you know, like when the nastiness of a song just makes you do like a stink face sort of thing, like, you know, it's hitting good. That's kind of what this did. But at the 2-minute 10 mark, the cymbals just start hitting. The guitar bit goes into a sludgy, nasty, grimy motherfucking sound. The vocals just do this gnarly breakdown into the end, which is sublime. I also forgot to say that this song is just over 3 minutes long. It's about 3 minutes 12 seconds, I think. So yeah, it's quite a fast-paced track until the end, where it does have that sludgy, doomy, gloomy breakdown. So moving on, we have track 4, which is Vapid Existence, which I believe is the longest track on this album EP thing. Vapid Existence, 4 minutes 49. We get straight into gnarly vocals here with an epic guitar sound that's almost got like this siren-esque vibe where it's like wow, wow, wow. Obviously I can't make the proper fucking sound. I'm going to make myself look like an absolute twat doing that. But you kind of get where I'm coming from, where I say like they're making a siren-esque sound with the guitar, because they can obviously make it wail a bit more of a higher register note than I can with my voice. So you've got that throughout the song. It's kind of vibey and has like, there's something in the background. I don't know if it is or if I'm just hearing things, but there is something in the background that sounds like when you leave a phone off the hook and someone ends a call, like in a TV show, where it's like that beeping sound. Again, that sounded more like fucking Pac-Man, what I was doing, but you kind of get the vibe of the sound I'm trying to reference, I guess. Hopefully someone knows what I'm on about, and I'm not just making myself look like a lunatic here. But yeah. So we get that. We get the siren-esque guitars. Then it drops out. And when I say it drops out, it kind of goes like dead silent at times. And we get it come back with a slow beat, the vocal dual between the like dude doing the gutturals and the dude doing the slightly higher, like more high registered scream. They're like doing lines back and forth until another dropout into what is simply just silence with a kind of like a bass line over it for a second or two, and then it comes back again at full force, and it just goes fucking nuts. This band really do love their like dropouts into like down tempo changes into high tempo changes, and they do it frequently, 2 to 3 times a song it feels like, and it is crazy. um which with that we're gonna go straight to track number 5, which is Wise featuring Knife Lighter. I've never heard of this band, but this song was about 3 minutes and 18 seconds, I believe. So here we have a slightly faster paced song for the minute compared to some of the other songs at the start, but the vocals are still sick as hell over the blasting drums and killer guitar work until we get a dropout into a down tempo change with the nastiness of blast beats and the vocals going even lower than they have been doing. It's just one hell of a track. And honestly, might have to look into Knife Lighter, because obviously I wasn't 100% sure who they were. I couldn't quite just pick them out in the vocal lineup, because obviously 2 vocalists have, I'm assuming Knife Lighter is 1 vocalist. I don't really know what their vocalist sounds like in terms of like vocal patterns I should be listening out for, and like what registry, like if he's a solely deep vocals, if he does the higher register, if he's like a mid fry, etc. So yeah, but that was quite an enjoyable track. It didn't last too long, but we do get swiftly moved on to one of the last 2 songs, which is the Chained Oblivion, which always just reminds me of this thing that was referenced in a Critical Role D&D episode. In the Mighty Nine campaign, there was a character in that called the Chained Oblivion, and this features the band Nomadic, but the A is a V, so if you want to look them up, it's NOMVDIC, Nomadic. And this track is 4 minutes and 44 seconds. So, again, here we are quick to start with a slightly quicker pace until silence hits again, and then we build back into it with drums and the cymbals tinging and the vocals slowly coming back with some pace. The different styles of the vocals here all stand out from each other. I could easily discern there was at least 3 vocalists on this track, so it all kind of worked quite nicely together. The slow build that picks up into a solo, it's one of the only solos I think we get, then back into the song. Holy shit, these fellas in this band are fucking insane. Like, they just love a good drop out into a tempo change. It's nutty, but that's their thing. And if your band's got a thing, then people are going to know you for that thing. So if someone says to me, oh, have you heard In Gloom? I'll go, oh, the band that likes to do the dropout down tempo changes. Yeah, they're fucking sick, you know? So at least I've got something I can remember them by, if not multiple things, because obviously they've got 2 badass vocalists here, and they've got the down tempo dropout shift pattern. So yeah, easy to memorize and recognize, you know? This does then take us into our final track, which is In Gloom for 4 minutes and 20 seconds, the final one here. And this is down-tempoed and gnarly, and again, the vocal duo just works so well together here. And a special shout out to the drummer and guitarist, honestly. as they have so many tempo changes and dropouts and blast beats and chugs and twangs and weird sounds and siren-esque noises and all of this stuff to keep up with, that these guys have to be fucking talented in this band. It is insane. All of them have to be on the ball to pull this stuff off, and I can imagine their skills live probably are quite something to behold. Fucking hell. Like, honestly, it is mental. But yeah, so that was In Gloom by In Gloom, the self-titled remastered album EP hybrid-esque thing. So, top tracks. So I know, again, there's 7 in this, so it doesn't quite work, but I have done it anyway, the way I normally would for an EP review episode. So, starting with 1, we have Wise. Starting the best, honestly, it just, Wise, something about it hit that spot, it was perfect. Then we go into Vapid Existence, which just was insane. I loved that song. Chained Oblivion was really good, and that comes in at number 3. In Gloom, the ending track, comes in at number 4, just for how solid it was and everything going on in it. It was just a belter of a track. 5, we have Sycophant, which obviously features Body Snatcher. It wasn't a bad song, I had to put it somewhere on this list, and there were slightly better songs that I enjoyed more other than that. Which leaves us to the final 2, which were tracks 1 and 2. So coming in at 6, we have 2, mainly because that was more of a song than track 7, or the 7, track 1, Scorched Earth, which was obviously more of just a introductory thing with a little bit of heavy vocals over the top. So with that being said, this is the episode 4 of the Dual EP review done and dusted. I'm going to be saying goodbye to your faces, but I will be seeing you again soon when we start this whole rotation off again, where we will be picking up with The Devil Wears Prada Color Decay, but I will be doing the deluxe version, so it will be a slightly longer episode. Yeah, so look forward to that coming out. If you don't like The Devil Wears Prada, we will have, obviously, discussion. We'll have part 2 of the gimmick conversation coming out soon after that. Then we'll have another 6-song roundup and another EPs video. And I think we've also got Spite album review coming soon as well. So yeah, plenty of material in the works. And once those are all done, then I will have to choose a bunch of new videos, a bunch of new singles to all get ready for your faces. So with that being said, I will be signing off, and remember to stay safe out there, my friends. Goodbye.